we are in GameMaker Studio, and I just want to get our character animation sprites imported and then assign keyboard commands to them. First thing I'm going to do is grab a room sprite. So our works, this is the tab we're going to be in most of the time, but when you do click on specific objects, rooms, tile set, whatever, it opens up its own tab and you can close out and reopen quite easily. But the room is the background, or like the world, essentially. I'm going to just add a quick image just so we are not dealing with like this white. Let's go into background and then new sprite, and we'll call this s_room placeholder, S being standing for sprite. So we're going to have a interesting naming convention just to keep us organized. So S_ and then what the object is or what the asset is. It's a room placeholder just for this demo. So let's import. Let's go to, I grabbed the screenshot. Cool. This is not what I'll use for my game, but it looked good enough for the demo. And I'm going to move this into my sprites just to stay organized, and then add a create a group. I'm going to call this room sprites. Cool. So when we press the play button up here, run button, what will happen is we're going to get this background loaded in. So there's, we're going to build out our own custom backgrounds, but, to have like moving grass or water, but that's going to be in a later video. First, I'm going to zoom out just a bit, and I'm going to close the sprite. I don't need it anymore. Then I'm going to go over here, the right side, the asset browser, and press create asset, sprite, create, and I'm going to import first. I'm going to import the idle, and I'm going to rename it s_kiwi_idle. So that's S for sprite, kiwi, because that's the character, and then idle for its action. I'm going to make a new group, call it kiwi, or you could call it player, main character, whatever, your character's name. That would be good. I'm going to add another sprite, import, walk to the side, yes, and then rename that S for sprite _kiwi _walk _side. That way, if I'm while I'm searching for this sprite, when I'm assigning it to objects, I can just search walk side or kiwi, and all of those specific sprites will come up. Okay, another sprite. We have walk down, s_kiwi _walk _down. Cool. And then last one, create, import walk forward or walk up, S for sprite underscore kiwi underscore walk underscore up. Okay, so we have everything uploaded, but I want to do a little bit of editing. Oops. And GameMaker Studio has a nice like built-in image editor. So in this workspace, obviously like we are looking at, you know, the sprite, this asset's configuration. We can play it. Looks good. We can change the FPS to make it go faster, slower, and we can rescale or scale it up or down. And I did my best to sort of match them up as best as possible, but you'll see when we load them into the game, there's going to be some scaling differences we'll have to deal with. So first things first, I'm noticing this kiwi's eye is like so goofy. I'm going to go to edit image, and that's going to pull me up a new tab. And then I'm going to grab this pencil tool and the eyedropper tool, and I'm going to go, it's kind of like in Photoshop, but a little more streamlined. I'm going to go in and just edit this kiwi bird, clicking on each frame and using that pencil tool to even out this eyeball. And I can play it. I think actually he's gonna look like this. Cool. So this is really nice that if things don't export when you scale them down in Photoshop or Procreate, you can easily fix stray pixels. And I'm going to do that on each of my animations. But for now, I think that's good. So I'm going to close that. And you see he's fixed right here. Great. Okay, so we have these sprites, but we can't, well, you know, even if we press play or run, he's not in the game. We have to create an object for this character. So again, in the assets, we're going to go create asset, object, create. Okay, so just like the sprite naming conventions that has the S at the beginning, I'm going to start with this as O at the beginning for object. So object underscore kiwi. And because this is an object and I have all these specific sprites for specific sort of animations, sorry, I'm just moving these around. These, I need to reference that and that specific animation, but Kiwi, the object that we're putting into the room, he's going to be given all of these animations as like reference, like command references. So first I'm going to give him a sprite and I'm going to pull up the idle. This is his default state. So when he is not being commanded to do anything, right? When the keyboard isn't being pressed. So to code this, or to create the code, if you want to call it that, we'll make something called an event, and we're going to make multiple of these. These are the interactions between object and whatever, world or keyboard, user, whatever. And for our main character, we have to make a couple new events, and you'll see it's a little bit different than Arduino, which you'll see. Okay, so first I'm going to add an event, and I'm going to create a variable. So this pop-up menu will come up, and we're going to be using the visual code. This is for another time. So we're going to add this visual code because it's essentially like a plug and play style. And it's great for like someone who doesn't know coding, especially like this language that they're using. So I'm going to use the visual, don't ask again, okay. And I'm just going to go, so I went to add event, create. So I'm going to create a variable for this character. And I'm going to assign variable, and I'm going to call this move speed. Oops. Sorry. The variable is called move speed, and the value is 4. And we can play with these settings. Value, like, so if you want to go faster or slower. Now we're going to go add event. Where is it? Begin. Oh. Begin? Oh, no, in the same create, sorry. Where is this guy? Add event. Begin step. There it is. Okay, under step. Begin step. So these are all going to be like commands that run on this character. So begin step, and then we're going to set sprite. And the sprite we're going to be using is idle. And we're going to press relative. And then we're going to key down. So that means like if the key is being pressed down and held down, we're going to add a left, a right, an up, and a down. Okay. So a couple of things to note in our world. X is left and right, and Y is up and down. So knowing that, I'm going to double click that, or I'm going to close these guys out because I don't need to reference them or return to them. And I'm going to make sure that left is selected, and I'm going to set instance variable, and the variable is the x coordinate, so left and right, and the value is going to be negative move speed, and then we're going to set sprite, just clicking and dragging, bringing it right down. I'm going to set that to relative, yep. And then I'm going to set the sprite to walking side. And then lastly, set instance scale. You can also search right up here. And then your most recently used ones will be up there. Set instance for -1. So just note, for our walk, I only had you guys make one walking animation, or you should have only needed to make one walking animation. because essentially the left and the right images will just flip them or mirror them, right? So we're going to make sure that negative is before the move speed variable, and horizontal, so the X horizontal is -1. All right, so that will be the opposite on the right. I'm just going to start with the right and just quickly drag everything over. Make sure that is, so the right doesn't have a negative before the move speed. I'm going to select that walking side, and I'm going to keep, make sure it's relative, keep that a positive, +1, +1. Whereas the left has that negative, negative, and the right has, no negative, no negative. Great. Now let's do up and down. Up and down, set instance variable, and set sprite. We don't need a scale because I have an up and down animation. Making sure we change that to the Y coordinate. Same thing with down. Y is up and down, X is right and left. So starting with up, I'm going to change that to move speed relative kiwi walk up, and down, that's Y, move speed relative walk down relative. Make sure those relatives are checked. Okay, so I think that should be good. We'll give it a test in a moment, but if I run the game now, you'll see, my character still is not part of this world. We need to include him into that. So I'm going to open up room 1, so our world, and I'm going to grab Kiwi object right here. And this is what is going to be placed in the game. This is sort of like the carrier for all these animations. So I'm just going to click and I'm going to drag, let's bring them right there. And we're going to say yes, we want to create an instance layer. So every object will get its own layer, instance layer. We're going to go over these different types of layers that we add to the rooms later, but I want to just get our character in the world and being able to move him around. So let's run it now. All right, so he is there, and if I press right on my keyboard, he goes right. If I go left, he goes left. Let's try up, and we'll try down. And you'll see the scale is like a little goofy. I'm gonna go in and fix that to the best I can. So let's see. So you can obviously scale these correctly in Photoshop for the, when you export them. But what's really nice is you can do this right here. So let's go 90, apply. That's not bad. maybe we'll go even smaller, 88, apply. And because it edited the image, I'm going to fix this guy's eye. Okay, looks good. Close that out. Looks better. All right, let's run. All right, idle. Looks pretty good. I could probably scale them down just a bit more. So going from side to down, down looks good, up is a little large. So let's go over, so walk down has a width of 48 and a height of 90. And we want this a width of 48 and a height of 90. Oop. That's what that is. Oh shoot. Let's try that. Okay, so I also noticed that his feet are moving crazy fast in the down. So let's change that FPS. Oh, yeah, that should not be 100. That should be like 12. 12, 10, 5. All right, that looks good. Let's try one more time. All right, idle looks good. I feel like I could shrink him down or scale the running up. So either way, I'm going to work on those scalings, get them kind of to match a little bit, but that's it for getting your character put inside your game. Now if we wanted to change, where did he spawn in at, or where does, wherever on the map, we can drag him around. He is this instant layer, and I'm gonna rename this we'll just call it Kiwi, or call it player Kiwi. That way I know exactly who this guy is. Especially because you guys are going to have multiple bits and bobs all in your game. So awesome, that should get you started.